Good evening, everybody. So today there is a massive show that we have on our hands today because there are two major talking points that I'm going to be discussing on today's show. We're going to start off with the T20 squad announcement for the West Indies series. There is a T20 series happening directly after this Test series. And then we're going to get into the preview of tomorrow's game, the second test between the West Indies and South Africa. And I'm also going to be reacting to Temba Bavuma's press conference, which he had earlier on today. It's embargoed for 6:30, so I will be starting the reaction to the press conference at around about 6:30. So that's going to be the show today. We're going to have quite a lot to get into, so I want to get straight into today's content. But before we get going, before we get started, please subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos, please. Very important that you do so. Also, smash the like button and comment and share. When this video has ended, please get into the comment section and have a discussion there. I will try to reply to as many comments that you leave in the comment section as possible. And in the live chat, we'll be reacting obviously live to those. And I would like you guys to please subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen right now as well as in the description. So let's get straight into it. As I said, it's going to be a very busy show today. And I'm looking forward to discussing all of these topics with you guys. We'll maybe, if there's still time, I might just dive a little bit into what happened in the emerging game as well and my comments about that too. So let's get straight into today's video. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your preview show. I'm your host, Khalid Previews. And this is the show where we're going to be talking about everything that has to do with the second test between South Africa and the West Indies. But we're also going to deal with some other news stories that have also happened today, that being the T20 squad that's going to be taking on the West Indies as well. So please get involved with that and the discussions there. I would like you guys to also get engaged over there. I just want to do something quickly before I'm going live. I don't know why I didn't do this. I thought I had enough time with the intro. Um, cool. Let me just get that out there. Okay, so let's get straight into first and foremost the T20 squad before we get into all the discussions about the test series. I think the first thing we need to do is just get this out of the way because I'm sick of T20 cricket, so I just want to get this out of the way as fast as possible so that we can move on, because we're obviously going to do previews and reviews of the T20s as well. But let's just get into this story first and foremost. So the Proteas, the White Ball head coach Rob Walter has today named the 15-player squad for the upcoming three-match T20 international series against the West Indies, which gets underway later this month in Trinidad and Tobago. Dolphins all-rounder Jason Smith, Lions fast bowler Kwena Mapaka have received their maiden call-ups to the national side. The hard-hitting middle-order batter Smith, who scored 51 in the 2023-24 CSA T20 Challenge final against the Lions, amassed 291 runs at an average of 41.57 and a strike rate of 134.10 in the competition. His medium pace also adds an extra option in the bowling attack. 18-year-old Mapaka, meanwhile, was part of the Under-19 Men's World Cup 2024 and played a pivotal role in the Junior Proteas' semi-final finish with his player of the tournament haul of 21 wickets at an average of 9.71. He also made his domestic T20 debut for the Lions and MI Cape Town Mumbai Indians in the Indian Premier League. For the Mumbai Indians in the Indian Premier League earlier this year. Sorry, my bad. Lions spinner Ngaba Peter, who made his T20I debut against the West Indies in May, has been ruled out of the series as he is in the final phase of his recovery from a shoulder injury. Now, that is also the reason why he hasn't been in the SAA squads etc., because he's obviously nursing an injury. So it's good to know what has happened to Ngaba Peter. Commenting on the squad, Walter said several players were not considered for the series due to either injury, being in a conditioning block that is related to workload management, or their participation in ongoing T20 leagues. This tour allows us to continue developing our player pool whilst maintaining the core of experienced players. It is also it will also expose our emerging talent to quality international opposition, similar to the last time we played against the West Indies in May when they smashed us. We're excited to have Jason Smith and Kwena Mapaka join the squad for the series. Okay, obviously Rob Walter didn't say that they smashed us. I added that in. Jason's recent performances have been impressive, and his ability to contribute with both bat and ball adds valuable depth to our lineup. Kwena Mapaka has been identified as a player with significant potential, and his tour presence, his tour, and this tour presents a great opportunity to include him in the Proteas environment and gain valuable international experience. So, for you guys that want to know the full squad, I've designed a little graphic for you guys. Here it is. We've got Aiden Markram as captain. Riza Hendricks is still in the side. Ryan Rickleton, Tristan Stubbs, Rasif Anderson, and Donovan Ferreira. You can put Donovan Ferreira in the batters department here or the all-rounders department. It depends how you feel about his bowling ability. Bjorn Fortuin is the only spinner or designated spinner or out-and-out spinner that we're taking with. Donovan obviously had some spin. Tristan Stubbs and Aiden Markram add some spin variation as well. Then in the all-rounder department, we've got Patrick Kruger, Vian Mulder, Jason Smith. Seamers, we got Otniel Batman, Nandre Berger, Kwena Mapaka, Lungin Gidi, and Lazard Williams. So that is the full squad with regards to that. And I am very happy with the squad. There is one omittance over here that is puzzling to me, and not because I believe that he's good enough for the squad, because I don't think that he should be getting so many chances based on his performances. But Andile Peklekwai is a contracted player and he hasn't made this squad. So that is a little bit baffling for me that they haven't gone with his name in here. They didn't really mention it either in the press release to let us know what the reasons are for that. So that is a little bit puzzling because I feel he needs as much. If they want to trust him and they want to let him be part of this, the squads, etc., they need to give him as much game time as possible because he doesn't really get much otherwise. Overall, I'm very happy with the squad. I think that like that Ryan Rickleton is getting, he's probably going to get a more consistent role in the batting lineup in this. I'm also quite puzzled as to why Matthew Brzezinski hasn't been part of this, seeing that he made the World Cup squad, that is not a part of this. That is a little bit puzzling to me as well. But at least we're going to be facing a very strong opposition. Now, I would have gone with the likes of Matthew Brzezinski instead of like a Rassie van der Dussen or um, perhaps. I mean, Riza Hendricks, I know a lot of people are maybe feeling that he shouldn't be in the squad based on his performance in the T20 World Cup. But that is something that that's a little bit strange, that if they want to look towards the future, though, they should be looking to move on Riza and move on Rassie van der Dussen. But I still believe that Riza Hendricks is a very good player, and in his career so far in T20 cricket, he deserves a little bit of a backing, seeing that he hasn't gotten the backing over the previous few years. But if they want to look to the future, you want to obviously give younger players an opportunity and a chance to show what they can do, like perhaps a Deval Previs, someone like that could come into the mix as well. But Deval's domestic form and form around the world hasn't necessarily been up to scratch, or perhaps that's why they haven't leaned into that side of the court with regards to his selection. But Matthew Brzezinski, I wished he was in the squad because he was part of the T20 World Cup squad. So I feel a little bit sad about that, that he hasn't been selected in this. Was he part of the T20 World Cup squad? Let me just pull that squad up again. I'm not sure if he was part of it. No, he wasn't part of the World Cup squad. Sorry, that was a mistake on my part. He's part of the test squad, but he has been a part of T20 squads in the past. So I think that he is a little bit of an remittance from that perspective. I do feel that he would have been probably the next person in line. He played that West Indies series though, before the World Cup. So that is the update on that. Let me get some of your comments in from this before we get into the test side of things. Gladden says, good to see some new guys get opportunities for the T20 series versus the West Indies. Gutted for Piretsky, though. One would have thought he was ahead of a guy like Rassi. Agree with you there. Tabo says, I'm glad Bekhlikwai isn't there, but what was the point of giving him CSA contract? You guys are speaking my language. If you're not going to select him, we all knew he wasn't good enough. Tabo says, Piretsky in the SAS squad. Is in the SAS squad. Um, that's true. But he's not in them. So, but that doesn't really matter to me, I think, with regards to this. Why did we give the white ball contract to Andile Bekhlikwaya? There are so many changes to the side, yet he's not even there. That tells me that Rob simply doesn't rate him at the moment. Yes, Jason Smith selection confirms it. What happened to Magala Khalid? Well, he hasn't been consistent in his performances and his fitness. Didn't really play a lot of games last season domestically either because of, I think, injuries. So I think he's kind of fell to the wayside because of that. He's going to really have to up his game if he wants to get a chance to play for South Africa again. Chatil says they need to move on from Janssen in T20s, have to get Ethan Bosch in now. I don't agree. I think Janssen is still very, very handy in T20 cricket. And the left arm option just gives you a lot. And he also bowls 140 plus. Plus, he has a great ability with the bat. Tabo, Riza Hendrik should be moved on, both T20Is and ODIs, says Tabo. Lawrence says, will be interesting to see how the combination of Rickleton and Riza will go. They generally bat well together. That's true. Interested to see. Sabir says, Mone Morkel is India's bowling coach now. Interesting. Bryce says, I wasn't impressed with Carl. Oh, okay. So you're moving on now to test cricket. Okay, so let's dive into the test stuff right now. So I think the major talking point for me with regards to the test side is probably the major talking point is going to be whether we're going to play or what's the lineup going to be. I think a lot of us were shocked with the lineup that was selected in the first test, particularly probably by Vian Mulder's selection at 8. I think majority of the surprises happened with regards to that selection. We batted really deep, and it put a lot of pressure on the two out-and-out seamers in Kagiso Rabada and Lungingiri. And we know that between Lungiri and Kagiso Rabada, who took the responsibility for carrying majority of the workload, it was Kagiso Rabada. And Giri didn't carry much of the workload. I felt that he struggled a bit. He didn't look 100% fit, and he didn't look like the Ongidi that we know and have seen in the past. And he did seem to have a little bit of issues with his boot again, and that seems to be a common trend in matches. He's always adjusting his boot, changing his studs, etc. So he looks like he's struggling a little bit. So the big question is, in this match, with what I've seen and what I've heard about this pitch, I've done some research regarding this pitch, and it's something that I'd like to talk about when it comes to this wicket, because yes, there haven't been many tests played at this ground in Guyana, but from what the research I've done, majority of the comments about it was mainly about the white ball fixtures there and T20 fixtures that have been at Guyana. And the talking points around that were all about it being a spinning wicket and a slower wicket. So for me, straight when it comes to this test match, I'm going to be thinking two spinners. That's the first factor. Now, in Cricinfo's pitch report, just to give us some context, when it comes to this particular match. They say with only two tests played at this ground, and the last of those 13 years ago, there is a scant data to go on for what to expect here. But the first class numbers may tell us something. In 2023, it hosted three Red Bull matches and the average first inning score of 206, which suggests the batters are in for another tough outing. The venue seems to offer enough for both seam and spin, with Quicks taking 67 wickets in 2003 at 20.20 and an economy rate of 3.35, and Spinners 49 wickets at 21.20 with an economy rate of 2.55. There are some afternoon thunderstorms forecasted throughout the match, but the outlook is mostly sunny and dry. The players may need a few extra drinks breaks, though, as temperatures will hover in the upper 30 degrees range, but with humidity above 90%, so the real feel will be closer to 40 degrees. From what I've read about this pitch, yes, there's something in it for the seamers and the pace and the spinners, but what the information told me is that the seamers tend to take wickets up front in the morning sessions. So seamers are definitely going to be important to me. So let's talk starting 11. I feel that Pitt should come into the side for Vian Mulder. That's where I'm sitting at the moment. And I know Vian Mulder played well. He got 41 not out. And the Ryan Rickleton didn't. But I think based on history, Ryan Rickleton, I feel, deserves an extra shot to show that he can be a part of this side. And Carl offered a little bit more, so I'm not willing to drop Carl for Ryan Nicholson as the keeper. I feel that Carl Verheyen is the right keeper for us. Yes, he made a couple of mistakes in the test match, but I'm still of the belief that he is our best keeper in the country when it comes to red ball cricket. So I'd go with the 7 batters still, but I'll add in Dane Pitt at 8, Keshav Maharaj at 9, Nandre Berger at 10, and Kagiso Rabada at 11. That will be my lineup for this particular match. And I think we have enough there. I think we have enough from the batting perspective. I think we have enough from an overs perspective. And because I think Nandre adds an extra 10 overs that above on what Lungi can offer you. Now, we might not have that extra seamer, but we'll have the extra spinners to help us down the line. Otherwise, if I do feel that we need the extra seamer, then it has to go Mulder in for Rickleton. That is the big question then. And if that is the question, it's going to be based on conditions that I'll make that decision. Based on opportunity, I feel that Mulder's gotten plenty of opportunities in the past. Yes, he played well, got a 41 not out, and he played really well with the batting at 8. But I think that Ryan Nicholson deserves another crack to play and get 2 innings, of course, because he only got one opportunity in 1 innings to perform. And I would like to see that from that perspective. I think Aiden Markham can still add a little bit of variation now with the ball as well. Now, picking Vian Mulder instead of Ryan will give us balance. So that will be a decision that they're going to have to make. And I feel if you want to pick a more balanced side and you want to forget fairness and giving people opportunities, I'm okay with Vian Mulder playing as well at 7 and then Ryan Rickleton stepping out. But I do believe that Dane Pitt must play. That's a must for me in this match. I think that he will offer a lot on the track as the track gets older and it starts spinning, which a lot of people predict that it will do. And I think that KG and Nande Berger as a pair will have enough to be able to add to the wicket tally as well. And Keshav Maharaj is this world class, and he always adds to that. So I think we've proven that Keshav and KG together have enough to be able to take majority of the wickets, and you just need your other guys to chip in. So that's why I'm willing to risk having Ryan still at 7 and I have the 7 batters, and then leaving out the seamer because I feel that Nandre can add Mulder's workload and Lungi's workload together, and he adds a left arm option. He seams the ball. He's good with the new ball up front, and in the morning sessions up front, is where majority of the seamers will be used, and get majority of the wickets. And then you can rotate Keshav and Dane Pitt in the middle overs, and then just add Aiden with one of the seamers maybe down the line, as you rotate Rabada and um, Andre Berger. So based on that, let me just have a check what you guys have had to say about this team. So Dirshan says simply replace an unfit Ngidi with Berger and perhaps Pitt for Mulder. Tabo says the pitch in Georgetown could have some grass on it, according to Ian Bishop during day 5 commentary. I think we should drop a batter for Berger and Ngidi for Pretorius. That's also another option. Pretorius is also another option because he adds a little bit of fire. Um, that could be another option as well. But I would like to go with a second spinner in from my perspective. Let me just get in here with Vishal. South Africa needs 2 spinners in the second test, says Vishal. Chatil says I'd bring Pitt in for Mulder. That's it. Lawrence says from all accounts, the Guyana wicket will be a lot more tricky and difficult to bat on. So if that's the case, the 7 batters should remain, in my opinion. Berger in for Ngidi and Pitt in for Mulder. Very easy decision over there. I've got the same opinion. I've answered this already. A to Z, ZZ, Sabir. I don't know why they so desperate for Mulder to do well. He's given too many chances. Chatil says when you start with a player, unless he is injured, you have to give them back-to-back games. Lawrence says we saw during the T20 World Cup as well, batting was tough and it spinned a lot. Also a very up and down pitch. 100%. And that was my understanding of the wicket. It's a little bit different to maybe than the what the stats say from a first class perspective. Tabas says we are too batting heavy. Chatil says pace travels on that pitch. Vishal says his team is Tazozi, Markram, Stubbs, Temba, Bedingham, Mulder, Kyle, Pitt, Maharaj, Rabada, and Berger. Bryce says without Mulder, we were 50 runs less, cannot justify dropping him. Chatil says it's like an Indian test pitch. We have to believe, though, Bryce, that our other batters will come good. We can't base it on the first test because the conditions are going to be completely different. And if the pitch, like Lawrence said earlier, I agree with him. If the pitch is going to be as tricky as people are predicting, we want proper batters there. And I know Vian Mulder is a very good batter, but I would like rather to have that solidity with proper batters there at the crease. Chatil says, so you think it's between Rickleton and Mulder? Chatil says Ngidi deserves back-to-back games. If ain't injured, he averages 23 in tests. Lawrence says if we play 2 spinners, we don't need 3 seamers because logically a lot of spin will be bowled. So that means one of the seamers won't bowl a lot, if at all, as Pitt and Maharaj will do the bulk, 7 batters. Price says, I think Kyle has had ample opportunities, and Khalid, you said yourself he should be showing more maturity. Rickleton deserves a shot over Kyle, in my opinion. I think that's why I think both of them deserve to battle it out in the team together. We have an opportunity to play both of them right now, and we should continue doing so. I think Kyle showed a lot more than Ryan in the first test. And I don't want to count Kyle's previous opportunities to when he had an opportunity to play. And Tess 100 to his name, I know it's a long time ago, but we want to see him kick on and become that player for South Africa. I don't think that, I think he showed enough in the first test to keep his spot. Same like Mulder. I believe that Mulder also deserves another opportunity, but this is about now fitting in the right balance from a seaming perspective and spinner's perspective. If the pitch was the same, I would keep the team the same. And I'll just change Ngidi for the likes of maybe an Andre Berger. Hardik says, yeah, both spinners will be key for us on these dead pitches. If you want fast bowlers, play Berger instead of Ngidi with Rabada. Chatil says Ngidi variations will be useful on that pitch. Unlike Berger, pace is pace mantra. My problem with Ngidi is he's going to have his work. He can't. I don't think he can deal with the workload of having only 2 seamers in the side. If he was the third seamer in the side, then I understand because he doesn't look 100% fit. and he was our most expensive bowler in the first test. He doesn't look like he's bowling at the levels that he was previously. I remember not so long ago he was bowling 140s. He's bowling 120s now at the moment, and low 130s. Sapo says SS should decide between Kyle and Rickerton because we are short, a bowler short. This should be our 11, says A to Z. Markram, Tazorzi, Stubbs, Temba, Bedingham, Rickerton, Kyle, Rabada, Maharaj, Pitt, and Berger. That's basically my 11, I think. Rickerton, RTV Sports says Rickerton should get the nod. Chatil says Kyle better keeper than Rickerton. They aren't competing for the same spot. But when you pick, yes, Kyle's better than a keeper than Rickerton, I believe. But if you drop Kyle, you're gonna have to play Ryan as the keeper. Hardik says Markram, Dezorzi, Stubbs, Temba, Bedingham, Kyle, Rickerton, Mulder, Maharaj, Pitt, and Rabada. Lawrence says, I actually think Ryan and Kyle at 6 and 7 could work for SA in the long run. Two very attacking players and left and right combo too. I agree with you. I think they can both be in the side. We don't have to drop one of them for the other. And Gidi may be short of game time, so he needs games to build his workload up. Yeah, but then he needs to do that in domestic cricket. He can't be getting his workload up in international cricket. Bryce says, Gidi at the moment offers nothing. He barely bowls and can't bat. Official Steven Seagal says Ngidi should be left out. So those are the comments from a lot of you. I'm a big, and let me not get this wrong here. I'm a big Ngidi fan. Interviewed him in the past. I've enjoyed my interviews with him. I'm a big Ngidi fan, and I believe that when he's fit and firing, he's one of our best test bowlers, and he should be selected. No brainer, in my opinion, with regards to that. But at this moment, from what I've seen, he doesn't look up to that levels. Honestly, he doesn't look fit enough. To the naked eye, he doesn't, at least. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there, what the coaches are seeing, what the fitness, strength and conditioning coaches are saying or thinking. But what I saw in that first test, it didn't look like he was up for it. And for playing that role that he needed to take majority of the bulk of the bowling with KG. He didn't bowl that many overs. KG bowled almost double the amount of overs than he did. And that's a concern. Tabo says exactly, Sapu. We need to take 20 wickets to win this match. Going a bowler short isn't good on these dead tracks. We need to trust our batting to get big runs. But that's my point. Ngidi didn't bowl much overs, and Vian Mulder didn't bowl much overs in the first test. And that's why we looked a bowler short. If Pitt is in this team and Keshav's in this team, they bowl the bulk of the overs. And then you've got your wicket-taking ability and speed and movement from the likes of Nandre and KG up front to try and get those early breakthroughs. And then Pitt and Keshav have enough to be able to take out the rest. That's what I truly believe when it comes to this. If you are worried about that aspect, then perhaps then you need to add in Vian Mulder into the mix and then drop one of the batters. But I do believe that we need to be able to also make sure that we can score 250, 300, 300 plus, I think, to win this match. I mean, even I would be very, very, very bold and say this team has the ability to be able to score 400 on a tricky wicket if they apply themselves. Chatil says, I have no issue with Berger playing if he started first up. Chatil says, so Conrad and Bavuma have made a blunder by starting with Ngidi despite having intel on him in practice sessions. Tabo, because Temba didn't trust them enough. Lana said, people said we need to take 20 wickets, yet we almost did that in the first test. If we played the full 5 days, we win. That match and most likely would have taken 20 wickets as we were on course to do so. And that's exactly what I explained now. I feel that Dane Pitt and Keshav Maharaj have enough to be able to take the rest of the wickets if we can take wickets up front and things work out for us from that regard. I just trust Nandre Berger more in the long run with regards to amount of overs that that is able to bowl from that perspective. That's what I think. Okay, it's 6:30. Let's get into the press conference because this might change our 11s if there's any news from Temba Bavuma regarding the team. So let me just get the video playing and let's react to the press conference of Temba Bavuma ahead of this match.
How's it, Nathan? I haven't seen that stat. I guess that's what the stat would suggest. I think I'm a lot more comfortable with my game, better understanding of my game as well over the last couple of years.
Does look like that.
Yeah, I'm really just confident. So, I mean, firstly, obviously, super happy that I was able to get to another milestone. The dream was always to just represent the country. So these kind of feel like it kind of feels like a bonus. But yeah, it does feel like I'm understanding my game a lot better.
But also, I want to also just mention something as well. There was a video on Supersport that that I saw earlier today, um, where it was like a behind the scenes type video. They were on the beach, the Proteas, and Tony Rizorgi was interviewing the players, and obviously all the players had their tops off, and then you can actually see what they built like. And when you look at Timba, Tony even mentions it as jokingly in there, but he looks a lot more fit, lean, and ripped. I wouldn't say he's ripped as a MMA player, but he's for a cricketer, he's decently ripped, and he's looking a lot fitter and a lot more in shape. So, and he does. I agree with him. That proves it. I think he's a lot better than he was a couple of years ago. He's um, improving a lot.
How's it, Stuart? Yeah,
Good question.
I think from a batting point of view, probably the batters just being a lot more
Simple but good.
ruthless. The guys who got the opportunity to get in, to really go on and get a big score for the team. That always obviously gives us a lot more time from a bowling point of view. Then I think from the bowlers, I think the bowlers did as best as they could considering what was in front of them. It was a miraculous effort from Keshav, basically bowling half the overs of the innings, you know. So yeah, I think from a bowling front, really not much that I could ask more from the guys. I think it's more the batting, and I think that's just a case of not having played a lot of Test cricket of late. And I think I'm confident that as batters, we believe that if we get in those positions again, we'll be able to go and get a big score for the team.
And that's why I'm pushing for like an Andre Berger in the team. It doesn't put so much pressure on Keshav to bowl bulks of the overs. I mean, basically entire match, 40 overs almost. It's not necessary for that. If you have someone that has energy and can run in and give you more of that, 20 overs, 18 overs, which Nande Berger can give you.
Yeah, I mean the confidence is growing within the team. Like I said before the tour, it's a young, inexperienced side, and I think with that, you know, guys need to see themselves performing well in certain parts of the game, and then obviously building from that confidence and those performances. If I look at the inexperience within the batch, a guy like Tony at the front, him going on to get a half century in the first innings and then backing it up again in the second innings with a 40-odd score, I think he'll take a lot of confidence from that. Tristan Stubbs as well with his second innings half century, the way he went about it, I think is what is exciting for us as a team. And we obviously know that the more and more he plays, he'll be able to find that right tempo and be able to play the way Tristan Stubbs can, where he can put bowlers under pressure. So, those are the little moments. There's more of them. Those are the little moments within the game we'd like to take. And like I said, I think it's just a case of us building on that, putting it all together, which I believe will really make us a formidable team.
Yeah, but like I said, we have natural players in this team. I've repeated so many times on this channel. If South Africa, if all our batters play their natural games, and they naturally can be an attacking side. Tristan played with freedom in that test, in that second innings. That's something that we saw from him. He just played his game. He played the conditions correctly, and he played his game, and he was comfortable at the crease doing so. I feel that sometimes our batters overthink things and they go a little bit into their shells, where I feel they just need to play their natural games. And a little bit should be just added to their knowledge with regards to how to read conditions and to see what it does, and then adapt the game accordingly. But if we play our natural games, we will naturally play I know I'm repeating words here, but we would automatically play a more attacking type of game.
Thanks, Lucy. Hi, Temba. Just with regard, you obviously the result was a bit out of your hands in the previous match, but looking forward, this match is quite important with regards to the World Test Championship and your aspirations to make the final. Just could you talk about how vital this match has now become with those aspirations in mind?
Yeah, I think it is. It is important. I guess to be honest, like any other game, it is important. If I look at our goal when we came here to the Caribbean is to win the series, so we have to do so in the next game. We can't control the elements or the weather or anything like that. All we can control is how well we play and how we rock up, and that's what we'll be trying to do again. We'll have a look at the wicket and try to select a team that speaks to that. But that's really all that we can control and focus on.
Yeah, I think we need to win all our games to get into that final.
Just day before the test last week, you announced the team. Do you have a team first?
Fortunately, I don't have a team as of yet. We've got training in about 2 hours time or so. We'll have a team then. There's not much else I can say at this point.
So we're not lucky this time around with the team. I wish I could understand this.
Okay, mawalo bukhanye bendingayazi ke le 2001 kodwa ke nathi ke sisithembile singabadlali yokuba sizoyenza yonke into esikwazi uyenza ukuba siphumelele kulo mdlalo. Njengoba ngitshilo ke namhlanje sine practice namhlanje apho khona ke sizazinika ithuba ukuba sikhe si understand imeko i-conditions alapha. Thina ke njengaba abakhetha iteam sizozama ikhetha iqela elizokwazi uphikisana ni-West Indies apha kwezimeko. Kodwa ke xa sentsho ke i-confidence nokuzithemba zabadlali bazithembe kakhulu, and bafocus kakhulu kuba umuntu uzoyenza lento akhethwele yona.
Great, thanks, Kaniso. Talford?
Thanks, Timber, given that you're probably going to have another slow pitch and there's rain forecast as well, do you think one of the lessons that you can add to that and what happened in the first test, do you think one of the lessons would be to try and score faster than you guys did in the first test?
I don't know. I think if we're really nitpicking, maybe we could you could look at that. I think if it's a slow wicket, obviously scoring quickly does become a bit tricky.
Trickier.
Especially when it's a first innings and you're actually trying to understand the conditions. I think that does become a bit dangerous. I think, like I said, with the batting, Telford, I think it's just for me, it's more the batters who got in going and get big. Also reducing the number of soft dismissals that we had in our first innings.
Thank you, Temba.
And really putting a higher price tag or highest value on our wickets. But look, we wouldn't have predicted that we would have lost 7 sessions out of the possible 16 sessions in the game, out of the possible 20, right? Yeah, 20 sessions in the game. And that was always going to put us under pressure. So we can't control the weather. We can have it at the back of our mind, but I think you always want to play what is in front of you as well as we can, and I feel like that's what we'll be doing in this game as well.
Thanks, Telford. I think we'll go for those, then Nathan.
Thanks, Lucy. Also, Timber, that test in Trinidad was the first draw in 20.
Sorry, I just want to stop her there. Sorry for those. I just want to say that was exactly perfect analysis from Temba. We need to value our wickets more and not give away so many simple, easy dismissals. So I'm happy to know that my analysis of the first test with regards to the way the wickets fell is actually okay. I'm not a dud when it comes to seeing what I'm seeing. Sometimes I doubt myself a little bit and I maybe should be a little bit more confident, but that's exactly right. We should stop these soft dismissals, guys. That's the main thing, and we need to try and go big when we are in. Temba Bavuma probably puts that on himself because he could have gotten big and went out. Tony Rizorzi lost his wicket when he was in, softly as well with the reverse sweep. And then the rest of the batters lost their wickets cheaply as well before they were even in. So that's a problem we need to fix.
Tests and the first of Aiden Malcolm's test career, and
Let's go back a little bit more.
I think we'll go for those.
House of Timber.
That's what we'll be doing in
Sorry.
Go for those, then Nathan.
Thanks, Lucy. House of Timber, that test in Trinidad was the first draw in 28 tests and the first of Aiden Malcolm's test career, and it's just not something we see that often anymore. I know the weather played a big role in that, but just in terms of how used to results and wins and losses we've become as test cricket viewers, what is it? How does the mindset shift when you know that maybe you can't win or lose? You have to kind of maybe settle for a draw. Is there any kind of change in thinking, or is cricket just way more attacking these days?
Well, I think in our case, in the previous game, there was obviously a little bit of frustration at the fact that, well, we felt that with a little bit more time, a result could have been possible.
Agreed.
So I think there was a bit more frustration more than anything. Games ending as draws, like you said, are far and few between, and it wasn't the case of, both teams playing super well over 5 days. I'm yet to be in that situation. I think the last time I was involved in something like that was against Australia at the SCG, but that was also affected by rain. So yeah, it would be nice to be involved in a test where both teams play at their best. And at the end of the day, you can't get a winner. Test cricket has become attacking. I think that's an obvious thing because of T20 cricket. But yeah, I think here in the West Indies in these conditions, I think it can be a bit tough to be overly attacking on slow wickets. Guyana might keep a bit low. So I think it really is old-fashioned Test cricket. But like I said, we'll play what is in front of us, and if the opportunity is there for us to move the game forward, we'll try to do so.
Great, thanks. We're going to take the
Agree with that.
upstairs, so we'll go Nathan.
I love the way
first, then
Temba's talking, eh? He seems a lot more switched on and confident.
Andiqondi uba siyayithuka loo nto Nathan uba andikho phaa kwesilaa qela le-T20. I think bekuzothethwa kakhulu if igama lam belifakwe phana, so inoba ibhetere
Is there anybody that can translate this for us?
Kwangoku injongo ifocus ilapha kwi-Test cricket, and ndizozama udlala as best as I can apho kuloo format. Kusekhona ne-50 over ke esizojongana nayo kule nyanga ilandelayo. And into endithembele kuyo mna kubana if ezo zihamba kakuhle enye nenye izazilungiselela. But ke ezobe nditshilo ke andiqondi uba siyayothuka sonke ukuba ndingekho kwelaa qela.
thanks, Nathan. Zakia?
Obviously without you don't have a side, but you said that Guyana is going to be a lot slower. It's going to be probably also taking turns a lot to the pass of you. Is there consideration of, I mean, the inputs in the squad, is there talk about possibly playing two spinners this week?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, there we got our answer.
I think a guy like Dan Pitt, he comes into the picture. And then maybe from a seam point of view, there might be a consideration with Nandre being the left arm option. Obviously, him as well would be helping a guy like Dane Pitt. I think from my side, it's just to get a better understanding of the conditions. To be honest, I didn't get opportunity to train on the facilities, so I can't really speak on the conditions. But like I said, that will be finalized sooner than later. But to answer your question, yes, there will be a strong consideration on the second frontline spinner, as well as another seamer.
Okay, there we go. So we got our answer. We're gonna get exactly what I thought we might get. Okay, so here's another audio from Timba. I don't know if you want to. I just want to give it a listen to because I'm not sure if he's going to say anything that is worthwhile here from a South African standpoint. Let's just hear because I don't know. I want to hear what he has to say here. So it's only 4 minutes, guys. So just bear with me.
Tell us a little about what's the mindset coming into this game, not the result you would have liked in the last game, but what's the mindset of the team coming?
Oops. Wait, guys. I did something stupid. Okay, there we go.
Win the game. So
let me just go back quickly. Sorry, guys.
Result you would have liked in the last game, but what's the mindset of the team coming into this game, especially at Proteas?
We obviously want to win the game. So that's the mindset. That's where our preparation is at. I think from a process point of view, that will stay the same. We'll be coming, assessing the conditions and adapting accordingly. In the last game, we'll take whatever confidence that came from that game. We felt that we played good cricket. A pity because of the weather, we weren't able to get a full game and a proper competitive game of cricket. But yeah, we want to win the game and seal the series.
Abnar Ramzan usual. Of course, you're looking to win this test match and close out the series, of course. But there's a bigger picture of maybe getting into that World Test Championship final.
Okay, these are like the same questions though that we asked.
If you lose one, you have to depend on results of the other games. How much pressure is that for you guys having to go on that road to the World Test Championship final?
I don't think any more pressure than it was coming here to the West Indies. Weren't expecting things to be simple and easy. And I think for us to get to the final of the World Championship, I think that's a long road. I think our focus really was coming here to the West Indies, being successful in foreign conditions, especially from a young team, building that confidence. giving the guys the security that they need to be accustomed to playing international cricket, and then kind of just building up all those kind of blocks. World Test Championship, that's quite far. I think we lie about eighth or ninth on the log, so there's quite a lot of work that we need to do. So I don't think it will really help us to think all that far ahead. We'd like to stay focused on what's in front of us now.
We're in affected first match, but anything you see the need to improve, of course, not the result that anybody would hope for, but anything you see the team could improve on from those couple of days you were able to play.
I think there were a lot of good cricket that we played within the batting, within the bowling, and within the fielding. I think the bowlers put up a super valiant effort on conditions that sometimes were placid. The guys kept going. So from a character point of view, I can't criticize them there. And then I think from a batting point of view, guys got in, they got starts. Maybe we could be a lot more ruthless with the guys who got in, going on to get bigger scores, but we were still able to get to a competitive score of 350 with a lot of guys chipping in. So I think a lot of good stuff, and individually as well. Good signs from guys like Tristan Stubbs,
Same stuff.
guys like Tony DeZorzi as well. So I guess for us, it's just to keep building on that to see ourselves getting better. Um, yeah.
Finally, for me, not much data available here on Test match cricket at Providence. Just two matches. The last one was way back in 2011. How do you guys approach a match like that, knowing that you don't know exactly what to expect on a Test match cricket here?
Yeah, I think we just have to lean back on our processes, like I mentioned. Today is another day for us to sharpen up our preparation. So whatever intel we can get from the conditions, we share it amongst the guys. On day one, if we're batting or bowling first, using that first hour really to assess what is in front of us, and playing accordingly. I think obviously we're also leaning on the information or the perception around Guyana being probably a lot more slower, a bit more on the lower side, and more susceptible to spin. So, from a team point of view, we'll consider all of those type of changes if need be within our team dynamic and selection. But I think the best thing is come day one, we use that opportunity to assess what is in front of us.
Okay, so I really hoped that maybe was Tim telling us what the team is, and that we listened to that for nothing, because he basically said exactly the same. So sorry for wasting you guys 4 minutes of your precious time with regards to that. I'm just going to check. I know this debate's going on in the live chat, but I don't think there's anything more over here from a live chat perspective that's about the test match. You guys are all talking about the T20s now. I've given my opinions on Diego Brevis earlier on in the show. I'll just say it again here. I feel that he needs to do a lot more domestically first, figure out his game before he gets selection for the Proteas again. I know he's gotten two opportunities, but I think there's still a lot in his game that he needs to maybe just work on. And I think domestic cricket, a good domestic cricket season will be good for him. And some SAA games, etc., and emerging games, and SAA games for him before we get selected for the South African side again. I think we have enough talent there with Ryan Rickleton and guys like that coming through. So I don't think there's a need or necessity to push him into the side. Someone like Kwena Mapaka, why him? I saw a question earlier on about that because he's younger. Kwena Mapaka is a bowler, and with bowlers, there's not a lot to figure out when it comes to your game, really, if you're bowling with a good rhythm and you're fit. But Quinn has also shown a lot of maturity in the games that he's played around the world, and as well as domestic cricket. He seems to be on that same, keep that levels, basically the same as what he's shown in the under-19 setup. And we need some seamers to come through that can bowl 145, 150, and there's a necessity for someone like him to come through right now. But guys, that's all I have for you guys today for the preview of this match. We will play tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Hopefully that the game isn't too much affected by rain and we get a complete series where South Africa can obviously win the match. West Indies is no easy team to beat. As I've said before, we need to be on a game on a slower wicket in trickier conditions. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell if you have not yet. I'd also like you guys to please subscribe to the monthly magazine. click on the link on the screen as well as in the description. Every issue is 100% free straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. Also, smash that like button and comment and share. Once the stream has ended, please go to the comment section and leave your comments there. I would like to know what your teams are for tomorrow's game. Leave them in the comment section. Put some comments in there. I'll try to reply to as many as I can. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the game tomorrow, and I'll see you guys again very soon for a review show. We'll be doing our review shows at 10 a.m. South African Standard Time. So that's obviously after the day's play the next day. So please tune in for that and come and give me your thoughts there too. See you guys very soon. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Bye everyone. Enjoy your evening.